12 quick and easy to implement ways that you can maximize your citations and therefore your impact as a researcher, summarized here on this fantastic graphic. We're going to go through all 12 of them quickly in the third part of our event today, but this graphic, it's a summary of what we are going to be talking about. Tip number 1, choosing your keywords carefully. 5 to 8 keywords around your research, absolutely critical. Search engines use keywords to find your work. And our top pro tip here is that if you've written a title, then use different keywords in the keyword section of your research paper to the words in your title. Otherwise, you're going to be wasting keywords. Tip number 2, make sure you use the same name on all your papers. Gareth Dyke, Gareth J. Dyke, G.J. Dyke, G. Dyke. Loads of different ways to say the same name on your research papers. It confuses other people. And one way to implement this, as we've talked about already, as Samuel, I hope, has now signed up for Orcid. Get over onto orcid.org. Use your Orcid ID when making those article submissions. Tip number 3, as we've been discussing in our event today, dissemination and promotion of your research as a journey, not just when it gets published, but throughout the whole life cycle, as we've talked about what you can do before your work gets published. Develop that skill set, develop that groundswell, work on how you can talk about and promote your work in the whole lifespan of a project. So it's constant, it's ongoing. Tip number 4, citing your own previous papers within reason. You can't write an article that's just packed with your own citations, but you do need to make sure that you do cite your previous work. Use your previous work to demonstrate a pattern and become a leader in your field. It's a great idea to write review papers. We can talk about that as well in the Q&A, but cite within reason your own previously published papers. Tip number 5, do publish in journals that other people read in your field. Different research areas tend to use different journals. Pharmacology, cardiology, oncology, paleontology, they've got their own preferred journals. So journal selection is key to ensure that your audience remains engaged. Using key journals in your field to maximize readership. That's tip number 5. You don't want to publish in a journal that nobody in your field is gonna ever read. And if you can, go for open access journals. I know there's a cost to that, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure, in our fantastic Q&A in a moment, but you will get more citations, about 7 times more, if you can publish in an open access journal. Most authors support open access. They might not support the cost of open access. This gives you more reach to readers, open research, and open data. Tip number 7, writing review papers is a key step in your career. Very different to writing a literature review. We'll talk about this, I'm sure, in a moment. You will want to communicate with editors, get them interested in accepting or processing a review paper that you've written about a key topic, an area of debate, new results, new steps forward in your field. My PhD supervisor used to always say, write 5 or 6 papers and then write a review paper. And I know that Xavier can relate to that because we share the same PhD supervisor. Write review papers. It's a great way to advance your career, as well as, within reason, submitting to special issues, conferences, senior colleagues, key questions, propose to journals, special issues. Talk to editors, ask them, a key journal in your field, is it going to be publishing any special issues? Can you contribute? Because these tend to get highly cited and can be one-stop shops for other researchers to learn about a topic. Tip number 9 in our list of 12 top tips is to collaborate. Work with others. This is the key to a successful career. More publications, more opportunities, your personal network, enhance your impact, internationalize your research. You can't collaborate with enough people. It's a fantastic way to build your network, get more opportunities, put out more publications, and build your citations. Tip number 10, of course, is to go for those higher impact factor journals if you can. Target your publications, rank and impact, aiming high, choosing appropriately, and with the help of Scott and I, learning to manage your submissions as well as managing rejection. It happens all the time to researchers, unfortunately, but how you bounce back from those article rejections will determine the future of your career. Checking the impact factor of journals, we've talked about how you can do that in our event today. Tip number 11. You're going to need a comprehensive reference list, not just your own work, but a range of work that shows you have an overall grasp of the subject area. You are on top of your field. So travel back in time, look at a range of languages, check other papers in your field, and actually read everything that you cite in your reference list. We get lots of papers, we come to us for editing. Authors have not read the actual papers that they're citing in the reference list. Tip number 12, be smart with your title. Different words to the keywords. Short is better. Shorter titles get more citations. Less is more. Are you asking an interesting question with your research article title? Attract people's attention, allure them, entice them, get them interested in wanting to read your paper.